Washington Boulevard, eastbound. Can I get a transfer, man? 95 cents! Fuck you, I'll skate to the beach! And I'll look better getting there!
When was the last time y'all heard some Chuck Mosley Faith No More? That's not called We Care a Lot. Hence, we start out with Death March tonight. Here on the Metal Motel, where the desert meets the beach. And I am the heavy metal wizard. And make no bones about it, we will not be taken over by Kong tonight, even though he's looking to fight. And Kong has demanded that I only play metal tracks between 1982 and 1987 tonight. But that's not going to happen. I mean, we'll play some for him, but not the entire stream. No way, Kong. That track, of course, coming off the de facto debut album from Faith No More back in 1987. Chuck Mosley, ladies and gentlemen. May he rest in peace, of course, as he passed away a couple years back. But we've got a lot of tunes to do tonight. I want to say hey to everyone out there who's checked in with us on this late night, Tuesday night here in So.CAL, where the desert meets the beach. We're going to continue on with a band that I am so excited that after about a decade is finally going back on the road. As you know, the heavy metal wizard is a worshiper at the altar of sabotage. They are going back out April 19th to be exact. Festivals in Brazil, Chile, Netherlands, Belgium, Spain. The last two were in June. And I'm saving my pennies because if there's a miracle out there, I'll be in either Spain or Belgium. So without any further ado, Metal Motel style, old school for Kong. He wants to hear some mid-'80s stuff tonight, so we're going to oblige for the time being. This one's off the Sirens album. It's called I Believe, because I believe in Kong.
Beyond the skies, horizon so
Somehow we'll find me. Countdown begins. Our ship will soon launch on its very
It just doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't. A double shot of the mighty Taj. Sirens action with I Believe. And then something off the rare album, Sabotage Live in Japan, from 1994. Of course, the classic Jesus Saves. It's on the Metal Motel tonight, where the desert meets the beach. And something I just came across as I was playing that fantastic double shot is the lineups on both of those tunes are completely different. 100% different. Because I Believe from Sirens is John Oliva on vocals, of course, his brother Chris on guitar. Rest in peace, Chris. Keith Collins on bass, and Steve Dr. Killdrum Wackles, of course, on drums. Fast forward 10 years to the Live in Japan album. Zach Stevens on lead vocals. Alex Skolnick on guitar. Johnny Lee Middleton, longtime bass player. And Jeff Plate on drums. And John Oliva on the keyboards and the backing vocals, of course. Now, the version of Sabotage we're going to get with the upcoming shows, Chris Caffrey and Al Petrelli on guitar. So, lots of excitement if you're a Sabotage fan like myself, because it is the Metal Motel, and I am the heavy metal wizard. As I got to say, you guys out there, man, you got some real metal nads. I've said it. I always have. It's late night. It's Tuesday. We're all going to be late for school. But this next track, this has more nads than even myself or you guys. It's that great. It's one of the best metal tracks of all time, or at least of the 21st century. This one is called Ether, and it's from the band Yob. And it's serious ass.
Out
from the legendary disc, Another Perfect Day. Little Motorhead on the Metal Motel tonight, because everyone loves a little Motorhead on a late Tuesday night. Isn't that the truth, Kong? He's nodding yes. Before that, Little Misfits, We Are 138. From the Static Age CD, that's where I got it from. Of course, that track was originally released as a single back in, I guess, like 1978. Old stuff. And then Yob back there with something off their Catharsis CD, that punishing track called Ether. And we love that shit here at the Metal Motel. We do. I am the heavy metal wizard, and you make no bones about it, baby. I think we'll go from a little punk rock, Motorhead and Misfits, into a little blackened metal, if you know what I'm saying, on the Metal Motel tonight. It's been requested, so we're going to do it, all right? We're going to do two. We'll do a newer one and a classic. This first one is from the band The Falls of Rauros out of Portland, Maine. If you don't know about these guys, yes, I do love them because they named themselves after the waterfall in the J.R.R. Tolkien's Fellowship of the Ring and Two Towers. Lord of the Rings always does it for me. But aside from that, these guys just happen to be very talented, and this is quite a track. It's off their most recent album from back in 2022. It's called Clarity. On the Metal Motel on a Tuesday night.
Baphomet's call. Blood on my hands. Let me out of here. My bones are decayed, my flesh it doth rot. I'm lying in silk, take the lid off this box. My lungs gasp for air, my eyes scream for sight. I promise the rise of my body this night. Summon the dead. Baphomet's call. Blood on my hands, screaming in torment. I'm telling you all.
To this day, I still can't understand why my version of this song fades out so early. I've had this, it's a burn CD I've had since like 1995, but the version of Buried Alive, it just fades out after 3.5 minutes. I don't get it. I don't know. But nonetheless, 3.5 minutes of Venom is better than no Venom. It's from back in 82, of course, from the Black Metal album. And Falls Auroros in there with Clarity from the Key to a Vanishing Future CD, 5th album from those guys, and it's freaking tremendous. I love me some Falls of Auroros. Hey, it's the Metal Motel, where the desert meets the beach. And of course, we're live in So.CAL at an undisclosed motel, attacked by King Kong this evening, who, at the onset of the evening, threatened my life. I want to say hey to everybody out there who's not named Kong. Got to say hey to Scotty and Zach and Johnny Lasseter, of course. Say hello to Ben is out there tonight. Ben throws out one of the best metal live streams you're ever going to hear. That man is a beast. I'm not even kidding. As a matter of fact, one of these days, I'm going to do a stream on a great wall of metal, and I'm going to count down my 10 favorite heavy metal streamers on YouTube. No doubt, Ben will be among those top 10. There's no doubt about it. He's a lock. Randy, hello. Charlene, of course. Hello. Fairy Girl UK, you're the man. Your fiance's the man is what I meant to say. Fairy Girl recently engaged, if you don't know. She's off the market. Another band that's been off the market for a long time, one of my all-time favorites. Talking about Caius, who recorded this album back in 2013 without Josh Homme, but it's still a wonder kind of an album. And they got sued for it by Josh and Scott Reeder. Unfair. So they had to change the name to Vistacino. But I still call it Caius. It's Planets 1 and 2 on the Metal Motel. couple of epics right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's Blackfinger. Of course, that's Eric Wagner's band. And that would be the title track to the last album, I think, that Eric Wagner ever recorded, When Colors Fade Away. Of course, from the legendary Trouble vocalist. And we love some Eric Wagner and Trouble, and especially Blackfinger on this night here at the Metal Motel, live in So.CAL, where the desert meets the beach. Prior to that, Caius, otherwise known as Vistacino, for that album. Planets 1 and 2. And I love that track because it's got the dual vocals. Little Brant Bjork on the first part, Planet 1, I guess. John Garcia, Planet 2. And I've always wondered, planets 1 and 2, I guess they mean Mercury and Venus, right? I mean, you could talk about Pluto and Neptune, planets 1 and 2, the furthest two planets from the sun. I guess not. I assume it's Mercury and Venus. All right, I am the Heavy Metal Wizard, ladies and gentlemen, and it's about time to wrap things up for a number of reasons. Number one, I'm down to my last cigarette, and that turns me into old man metal, and tonight is not an old man metal. And this last song that we're going to end the evening with, just like the Blackfinger track, is a title track. And this one is a primal metal title track, I promise you that. And if you want to hear some other great title tracks, this is called cross-promotion, people. Check out our last stream here on the Gotcha Metal channel. It was the Great Wall of Metal title track edition. Not 1 week ago, we streamed that bad boy, and it's still up for your listening pleasure. Yes, it is. But we'll end up with a real epic here. And again, I want to say hey to all you guys and gals out there who kept me company tonight. You guys make my day, you make my evening, you make my week. I really love you all, and that is the truth. Sending all the love from So.CAL, from the beach tonight, because it's what it's all about. We're going to end up with a band that you probably know. I saw a couple of requests for Sleep. This one's close. It's not quite Sleep, but you're going to know exactly who it is that we're going to end tonight's Metal Motel stream with. It's the Heavy Metal Wizard signing out. Everybody have a great night.